Hello.
Hello. Or as everyone in Germany said, hello.
She fancies herself a German now.
Well,
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking my European Fanta, my orange soda.
She just before the show, she poured it out of the bottle. I'm like, what? You're not going to sit here? Because the only way she could find it here in Vegas was in a 2-liter bottle. And she was previously drinking out of said 2-liter. Where's your 2-liter at? What'd you do with it?
It's in the trash.
Oh, you're not even going to show it to him?
Nope.
Anyway. What is happening, everybody?
Hello.
I know there's some people here. We haven't seen any activity in the chat. We thought something was wrong for a second, but
I know.
Where are you guys at? Say hello in the chat. Anyway, our last show was on the 8th, the Sunday before you left. You left on a Friday, and you were gone you were gone from here for 11 days.
Yeah. If you scroll down, I can see more in the chat. Scroll
Right
down.
here, babe.
Oh, there it is.
Right in front of your face.
Oh, there.
Oh, we got Chuck Van Pelt. Well, hello, fellow eBay seller who doesn't work for eBay.
Not anymore.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's just a fellow reseller now. How is the non-eBay work life going?
How's the hustle?
Yeah. How's the hustle? Are you working double time on your eBay store, or because I know before you were pretty much like full-time eBay, full-time seller. I don't know when you.
He's a much better reseller than either one of us are when he was doing it part-time while working full-time.
For sure. Hey, Christine.
It's nice to see everyone in the chat. So Liz can attest to the fact that every single person that greeted you in Berlin specifically, whether it was a waiter, a waitress, the people at the front desk at the hotel every time we came in, all the housekeepers, every shop person in the stores, it was a very high-pitched hello, which was, by the end of the week, of course, Ken said that every time he saw anything or anyone. So we had a great time. Honestly, I can't even put it into words, but I'm going to say right now, next Sunday, we're going to be doing our show a little bit earlier. Katy is actually going to be facilitating for us. It is going to be myself and the 5 other resellers that went to Germany, and we're going to be talking about our experience and what we learned, what we're able to talk about, what we learned from our fellow sellers in Europe, and also kind of what our takeaways were from the meetings there that were eBay related, but also just people related, right? I mean, it was kind of an experience that I really can't put it all into words. I know there's plenty of people that have been to Europe and traveled all over the world, and I'm nothing new for that. But it was the first time that any of us had gone. Our friend Joy, that was one of the people that went with us, had actually been to different parts of Germany previously, but she was the only one that had ever been to anywhere in Europe. And we just had a phenomenal time meeting all of the other sellers from the EU and UK. Yes, I realize that UK is in Europe, but I meant the EU as the government. Anyway, it was life-changing for me. I'm a huge history buff, and I always have been, especially obsessed with World War II history, and just being in a city that was so rich in that history was just fascinating. The parts of Berlin that we were in West Berlin and in East Berlin they're just so steeped in that history, and we found it fascinating. Something that Liz and I did and experienced on our last day was that we went to the concentration camp that was outside of Berlin, the city, and that was equally moving. And we happened to go on a day that was pouring rain, freezing cold. It was about 35 degrees. You take a train to go there. You get off the train. You walk through the town to the concentration camp, and you walk the same pathway that the prisoners walked when they got off the train. You walk about a mile into the area, and it was incredibly moving, and it was a very long day, a very long tour. We only saw a fraction of it there, of the camp. It was the very first camp that was built, and every other camp was modeled after it. It was meant to house 8,000 people, and at many times there were as many as 40 to 50,000 people there. It was very rich in history, and it was a very difficult tour for us, just being cold and wet and slogging through the mud, and I think it was very fitting. that it was a miserable day in the weather, and we were not comfortable, and we shouldn't have been. Yeah, so I'm going to say that without getting too emotional, but it was a very emotional tour.
Well, you had a great time. It was you and 5 other sellers, and the perfect personalities to spend that time together.
Yeah, we had, really, I mean, honestly, we were all incredibly outgoing and very talkative extroverts to begin with. Joy would say she is not, but she was. And it was really fun to meet the other sellers. I think they didn't quite know what we were doing there. We didn't quite know what we were doing there at first. But it was very interesting to hear about how different their experience is as sellers on the different platforms. On the same platform, but in different countries and on different, .com versus .de, .uk, that type of thing.
But like Vikki said, we're going to do a special show. Next Sunday's show, it's going to be earlier because we have something to do in the afternoon, so it'll probably be at noon. But I will schedule that show sometime midweek this week. So
I want to make sure more people hear about it because
those other 5 sellers will be joining us, so you'll get to see them and hear from them as well.
Yeah, so it was really, really cool. How were my sales while I was gone? Well,
I like how Liz asked that like she doesn't know what goes on in your life 24/7.
That's true. I mean, honestly, it was just a great group of people to go with. We weren't entirely sure. Liz and I know each other very well. Obviously, she's one of my closest friends. And we knew that we were going to have a blast no matter what. We just didn't know exactly. We knew the other sellers, but we didn't know them. There's like different levels of friendship between sellers, right? We didn't know if they would want to hang out with us outside of the eBay stuff. We didn't know if, like, we're the old ladies. We call them the kids.
Yeah, you're so old.
We called them the kids. They were all in their 30s. We didn't know if we were going to, they wanted to hang out with us outside of the businessy part, right? Why would they want to hang out with their moms? It felt like. Yeah. No, they did.
I know. I think you get you get more hung up on the age thing than a lot of people do. And I've said to you before, we used to hang out with Diane all the time, and she was about 15, 17 years older than us, 18 years older than us. I don't think the age really matters. Personality, now, certainly some people who are older than you seem they seem like generations away from you, and you just don't have anything in common. But I feel like all these people are people that, I feel like are more like peers as opposed to kids.
Well, I feel like it now. I wasn't sure how they would feel, honestly. I feel like it's fine, right? I don't really ever feel like somebody's way younger than me, but that doesn't mean that they don't feel that I'm too old to hang out with on their end. You know what I mean? So,
but your sales were okay.
My sales.
I was doing your shipping. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad for me as it was in December when you left for a week. But that was December. But you had some days where you only had a few, and some days where it's all of a sudden in the middle of the week and you had 10.
Yeah. That my sales weren't great, but my sales haven't been great for 2 years now, so it wasn't that different. My sales were pretty consistent on Posh and on Etsy. eBay, my sales have just been awful for the last 3 or 4 months, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. We just had a great week, and we're going to talk about the sales highlights that we've had. Yeah. Over the past 3 weeks that we haven't done a show. We're just going to hit on some of the highlights on the different platforms. I just want to say, I did see Yuri in the chat. Yuri, it's good to see you, sweetie. If those of you that don't know,
Yuri,
her husband was just deployed for 6 months just this week. And
now you got 3 kids you got to juggle for the next 6 months.
She's got 3 babies to take care of. Man. So,
and let me tell you, they are pretty full of energy.
They are. They're super cute.
They're super cute, but they're going to be a lot of work, I know. So we love you, Yuri. And Patty, you were right. We don't even look close to our age. Okay, we don't. We are quite young.
Yes.
I said something the other day.
We're youngins.
We'll get to the sales highlights here in a second. I said something the other day because basically when it comes to any kind of a lot of things, I'm kind of, you kind of just do whatever I say. And so, when it comes to, wellness stuff, and, I give you your vitamins that you were to whatever.
My vitamins and my peptides and all that stuff. She just hands me the stuff, and I just...
And she takes, this multivitamin, and I was like, when you're done with those, I have a different one I'm starting us on. And I go, I know I'm not 50 quite yet, but I go, it's a 50 plus one. So it's got like some extra stuff in it. Like it's so that we can cut down from like multiple pills to like, it's got like the D3K2 and whatever. And for a second she goes, wait, who's 50? And then all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, me. She forgot.
Who's the old bag? Oh yeah, that'd be me.
She forgot. Anyway, strong coffee and Roblox will be my go-to for the next 6 months. Seriously.
Well, we'll be thinking about you, honey, and Fernando as well. I
made some coffee earlier and I came upstairs and Vicky, it's like an accusation because it was the afternoon. She's like, do I smell coffee? And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you can go make some for yourself.
Yeah.
And then she didn't. I didn't offer because usually she has a hard enough time with sleep. Like afternoon coffee
I can't do afternoon car.
But she was very accusatory towards me.
Because it smells so good.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Tommy says I'm not hanging out with 20-year-olds unless they're hitting. 20. I'm not going to be inclined to see a 20-year-old as like my peer. But I think if somebody's like, especially by the time they hit their 30s.
Yeah, I think it's
feel like it's a big deal.
I think it's because my daughter is about to be 33 in a couple of days.
That must be it.
And so, hanging out with Ken and Anna and Yinka, I believe, is the same age as them. Mm-hmm. They're all 35. And I'm like, man, they're literally, yes, I did have my daughter young. However, but they're literally my daughter's age. And yes, I feel like they're my peers, but I don't feel like
But we went to like Jody's...
my daughter's my peer.
We went to Jody's Christmas party, and there were like a bunch of people. There's like a lot of people that she works with in the service industry. And yeah, it was a lot of younger people, but I didn't really like think about it. And I was actually having fun. And sometimes, going places where I'm not going to know a lot of people, I can be a little bit like, I have some social anxiety. But I felt like really comfortable there, and I was having fun chatting it up with people and like joking around and stuff. And then later Vicky was like, oh, they were all so young. It was like hanging out with a bunch of kids. And I'm like, really?
Sometimes I feel that way. Not always. I didn't feel that way with Ken and Anna at all.
Yeah.
Or Yinka. We had a great group of people that we went with. Overall, honestly, you never know what it's going to be like traveling with people. I've traveled with Liz. I've spent time with Liz. We've done some stuff. Like, I knew Liz and I were going to be totally fine. You just don't know that everyone's going to have that same type of personality. And we all travel well together. We got along great. We all wanted to do the same type of things. We're all foodies. It was fun. Yeah. All of it was fun.
That's good. All right. Liz says, I never noticed until I see pictures, and I'm like, what the hell? That's not me. Whatever. You guys looked so great in all the pictures that you posted. Maybe we'll share some next week. eBay had a professional photographer there in Germany.
For the European Seller Forum.
And there are some great pictures that came out of there, and you both look fantastic. You all look great. But anyway.
What is that? Oh, good
Tommy,
question.
that's a good question for next week. Save that.
Good question.
Put that in your pocket. Hang on to it for next week.
That's a good one to ask all of us.
Yeah, I'm going to have some pre-prepared questions, but I'm also going to ask you guys like any questions you want to know, because you'll definitely want to hear that from everybody, and you don't want to get too much overlap this week.
So Allison in there. I feel that way hanging out with you two youngins. All right, Grandma. Allison's coming in a couple of weeks to hang out here and visit with us, which we always love when Allison comes to visit. Yeah. She's one of our favorite people, but also one of our favorite visitors. We always have a good time. She's so laid back. It's like really easy to hang out with her. And I feel bad because her last visit here was before and after my aborted birthday cruise, because Katy had her pee bag and it was just awful. Poor thing.
What are you going to do?
So we were restricted in what we could do to even hang out with her before and after the cruise. So we're making up for it this time. And it's her birthday.
I know. And, she claims that she likes doing yard work, and she was all gung-ho about helping me out with something. And she might regret that, because I'm going to see if she's going to...
Oh, you're getting that clipper thingy?
I told her I want to get the extended little... what do you call it? Chainsaw, so that I can trim our trees finally. But I need to have, backup, because I don't know what I'm doing. And not that I don't know if she knows what she's doing either.
Yeah, that's okay. You'll figure it out
and
together.
She never did respond when I messaged that part of the message to her. So I'm just putting it out on Front Street here in front of everyone. But I just figure even if neither one of us knows what we're doing, it'll give me a little bit
Nobody
more.
Needs to lose a limb, just the trees.
We just got some sticky outy trees, and it's it's so freaking expensive to have somebody come do it for you.
Yeah, they want $500.
They'll charge you it'll be oh, you just want a yard cleanup, $400. So that's why I just do it myself. But then if you add trees to it, it'll be like $300-400 per tree. And it's not even like we don't have...
We have desert landscaping, guys.
We do not have palm trees. Like palm trees where they actually have to like climb the tree. We don't have those in our yard.
We have fruit trees.
Allison says maybe I can get one of those for my carry-on. We can just get it here. They're surprisingly inexpensive when I had looked them up.
It could be like Alexis. Alexis comes and brings everything in her carry-on with us. I mean, there was one time she came and brought us an air fryer in her carry-on.
It's true. It's true. All right, let's go ahead and look at our sales highlights. So while you were gone, one of the things I've been doing, because I'm listing 15 a day, which is building up my inventory pretty fast, and I really just need to sell more, and I need to build up my money coming in. And so one of the things I've been doing is being super aggressive, accepting offers and sending offers. And like the first weekend you were gone because you left on Friday.
I left on Friday the 13th.
And it was a long weekend. And so that was real fun. And I refused to do anything with your stuff until Tuesday. And so... But that weekend, for whatever reason, it was like eBay was hopping. Now, the only thing is, like, I'm selling stuff for low prices. So it's like I had a couple things I sold for like $10. I got like $15, $20. So it was always like really little things. But I literally had 35 things to ship on Tuesday, which for me is a lot these days. And then you had like around 25. So I had something like 60 things to ship on that Tuesday.
Sorry about it.
And I went to the gym that morning, and I kind of took my time getting started. By the time I finished, it was literally 6 o'clock. It was a lot. It was a lot. But finding my sales highlights for the past few weeks, it's like there's a lot of smaller stuff, but I was able to pull a few things out. But all right, let's go ahead and look at what we got over here. What do you got? You got some jewelry.
So you guys, most of you guys know that for a little over a year now, I have been doing consignment for this gentleman here in town. His mother was a jewelry hoarder. There's so much jewelry, so much jewelry. So one of the things that I had put together after this last batch of jewelry with him, and I still have more, I need to get more from him actually. Like all the Lucy's, right? So this is just sterling silver earrings that I only had singles of. I've gone through everything. There's probably not going to find the matches. If I find them, they are in future batches I haven't received from him. But listen, even sterling has its value. So they sold for the price you see there. It was a 25% off sale I was running. Like just some, semi-precious gemstones on a couple of them, but nothing fantastic. But, $52 for a bunch of scrap jewelry, and it's sterling scrap.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Did you see Alexis says she's got an extended...
Of course she does. She's going to put that in a carry-on. I don't think it'll fit.
All right, so I just want to keep... Oh, I didn't bring my little paper inbound. I think I remember all the prices. I'm doing way less vintage these days. When I find it, I'm very excited to find it, but I'll reiterate, the prices just aren't there as much. And a lot of times I'm doing just as well with stuff that is not vintage at all, if not better. And so this t-shirt I picked up, I paid $1 for it. It's an awesome shirt. I'm assuming this is like some sort of Arizona company.
Turn and burn. And
this just says Dust Devil, turnin' and burnin'. And I got an offer for this for $34. I sold it for $34. I paid $1 for it, sold it for $34. I sell vintage t-shirts all the time for less than that.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing.
But you know what? At the same time, I'm like, but I got plenty of cool... like I say, like I can get excited about finding stuff like this and be like, oh, this is a cool graphic tee. I bet I can sell this. I bet I can make money with this. So I am turning my brain around. I am getting adjusted to being able to be excited about finding cool stuff like this. But yeah, $34 plus $5.95 shipping. Not a bad deal for spending $1. So
not bad at all. Okay, this was one of the items that was in the last few boxes of the Diane inventory. You can tell certain things because I have photographed them. They were not photographed or listed by her at any point, and this is one of them. So this sold pretty quickly, actually. It rolled into a sale. I hadn't had it listed for very long, maybe a week or two. And it sold for the price you see there, $60 plus shipping.
Does it have a cozy?
It has a cord cozy. I figured I would sell it with it. Why
That's
not?
Awesome.
It came like that. But the cord is in perfect condition, and it worked fine. And certain clocks still sell really well. Not everybody wakes up just using their cell phones these days. Some people still like the sound and the look of vintage clocks, especially the deco era.
Yeah. Very nice. All right, next for me, so here is a vintage t-shirt that I had priced for this. I did find this at the bins. I haven't been to the bins in a very long time, but I found this at the bins, and I've had it for quite a while. And guess how much I sold it for? $35. So I sold it for $1 more than I sold that last t-shirt, non-vintage t-shirt. And it's such a cool racing t-shirt with the Hulk, and it's like, come on, man, why? But anyway, $35. I'm like, whatever. So I still paid only like $1 for it, because I do remember getting this at the bins, but I'm just a little sad about it,
Yeah.
Just a little sad.
So, here's the thing. Coach bags, I've said this before, most Coach bags I would not pick up anymore. I wouldn't have up until the last 6 months to a year. Certain Coach bags, the vintage leather ones, of course, you're always going to pick those up, especially any of them that are made in the 90s or earlier. They were just much better made. However, what I'm going to say is there is a fairly recent resurgence of Coach being the it bag again. It's all over the socials. It's all over TikTok. It's all over Instagram. They're calling this the bags that were in their mom's closet. Jesus, Christmas on a cracker. But yeah, they're from like the 90s and Y2K, and it's all the 20-something girls are like carrying Coach bags again. So that being said, all the little Coach bags are now worth double or triple what they were 6 months to a year ago.
Interesting.
That I wouldn't have even bothered to pick them up. So now I'm going to say pick up the Coach again. Start picking up the Coach again.
Pick up the Coach.
And this one had a lot of issues. This would have sold for a lot more had it not had a lot of... this had like lifting and fraying issues, but somebody still wanted it. It was all the gold lame on the straps was peeling and lifting.
This was one that I had shipped, and your stinking laptop was... I couldn't unplug it and bring it into your shipping room with me, so I looked at the picture of this, was like, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Went into the purse bin, pulled everything out, and I'm like, I didn't see it. And I'm like, well, you have like 3 purse bins, but I didn't see it. And I went back and looked again, and then I realized that the back of it looks like this. And I'm like, oh, I did see a Coach purse in there. I just didn't turn it over, so I thought it was something else, but so it was there. But so it caused me a little bit of heartburn.
A little consternation.
Yeah.
Liz is right. She's like, I'm laughing watching them freak out about how low those low-rise jeans were so low. How low were they? They were so low that we used to call them cooter cutters.
I never liked that look. And I never liked the, obviously I didn't wear that look, but I never appreciated that look and the whole, with the whale tail. Blech.
If you did not have a 95-pound scrawny body with a long torso, they were not looking good on you, but everybody tried to wear them anyway.
But like the thong underwear, bleh, I don't need to see that.
It's coming back, dude. It's coming back.
I don't need to know. It's like I don't need to visualize your underwear being in your crack, okay? It's gross. It just seems really uncomfortable. All right. Next up, this is another one. I did find this at the bins too, so I only paid like $1 for it. It took a while to sell. I did not sell it for this price. I sent out an offer for $40 and sold it for $40. But I mean, I had this for at least 6 months, if not close to a year. So at that point, I'm like, come on, let's go. So I sold it for $40. I'm kind of doing my I have a certain amount that I will offer up to like a month, and then after a month, then I start just going crazy with the super aggressive offers or accepting really, really low dollar amounts. But $40 I think is good considering I got this at the bins.
So Jane has a question in the chat. She says, when you both take consignments, what is your percentage between you and the other person? So Katy has never done consignment first. I started my eBay business as a consignment seller. I lied all the way through. I had somebody contact me. It was through the eBay's back pages. They used to advertise people that were... they didn't call us consignment sellers. I can't remember what they used to call us, but I had added myself to that in like 2001, 2002. Somebody contacted me and asked me if I would do consignment for them. I created a consignment contract.
You're like, of course, I've been doing it for years.
I fudged my way through the whole thing. I made a lot of money, and I kept doing. Then I started advertising, and I did consignment for a very long time. Now, that being said, my arrangement with Diane's family for her inventory is entirely different. That is actually just 20% for the first year of sales. So that I would not.
That's not really a consignment.
It's not really consignment. I'm just giving 20% to her family and to the charity. But in general, consignment, I give 50. It's 50% of the net. Yeah. So I will take, and I generally just round it up. I tell people, okay, if this sold for $100, $100, 20% is what my fees are all in, and we're each going to get 40. Mm-hmm. That's how I do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Next up for you.
This also came from Diane's. Point and shoot cameras are also making a comeback. It depends on which ones. They're not all worth it. However, I've sold probably 4 or 5.
I shipped like 3 while you were gone.
Yeah, I've sold 4 or 5. This one actually had film in it.
I'm sure it's really good film too.
I don't know what's on it, but I sold it for the price you see there. This wasn't listed very long. I've been, listing things at, prices to move them a little faster. Has it? Do I know that it works? Things turned on when I changed the battery, as you can see, and I pressed and depressed the button and everything moves properly. When it comes to testing electronics, if all of the things move and work in the way that they look like they're supposed to, I assume that it's working. If someone contacts me, and I do this with everything, a VCR, a TV, a stereo, it doesn't matter. If someone contacts me and says this isn't working or it doesn't work right, then I will take a return.
Well, yeah, you're not going to go buy a roll of film, take pictures, get them developed.
I assume it's tested and working until it comes back and says it isn't. That may or may not be the right way to do things. That's on you. It's just how I do it. I am not calling attention to something and accepting less money for it by saying it's untested, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously,
you did test it though. You just didn't fully test all the different.
Obviously, if it is something that is, filthy and you're getting it from the bins and something's cracked on it, that's a whole different conversation. All of this stuff was all cleaned and stored properly.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. All right. This is Yuri. Where's Yuri in the chat? This is one of the shirts that she gave me when she sent us the mystery box.
Oh, I have a Yuri sale too.
You do?
I do.
So I actually had 2 of these. I think I already showed the other one sold. So the second one sold, and it sold for the price you see there, $41.99. So for vintage, that's a great price these days.
It is.
But it's just a cool biker t-shirt.
So it looks like the West Coast chopper thing. I thought that was all well and done.
I have no. Well, this is Bad Boy Choppers.
I know. They all had that same look.
Yeah. Anyway, $41.99 plus shipping. So, thank you very much, Yuri.
I'm looking in the chat there, Patty. Do not put that off, my friend. I know how you are.
Go fast.
You're gonna miss the window of opportunity.
Patty, that's your goal for this next week. Unless you're not even gonna be home, as long as you're home.
Get out there,
take pictures, and get them listed ASAP. And then
list those Coach bags.
Week, you can say you already sold half of them.
Hi, Crystal. It's so nice to see you in the chat.
Hello, Crystal.
Okay, so what's next?
Did you know Crystal has shown up in 2 of my dreams now? What's up with that?
I don't know why you're dreaming about Crystal.
I don't know. It's been a while though. So it was while I was I think it was when I was taking that one peptide that made me dream like crazy. But she was just randomly.
I mean, she's highly entertaining.
Oh yeah. Well, she was super mean though because she wasn't mean. It was Crystal, I think you know this one, but basically I had this dream that I'm assuming I was in North Dakota and there was nobody else there, and then there was a goat. I think I told this on the show. There was a goat that had 2 heads.
I don't remember.
A head on each end. Anyway, and then I saw Crystal and I said, "Hey, where's the goat?" And she's like, "Yeah, the goat died." And it was so rude. And I cried. And it was very sad. So.
Oh, so Allison has a comment there. I did know this, but just in case anyone doesn't, did you know that if a buyer's address on eBay is international, but they use a U.S. address for shipping, you, the seller, is charged a fee? Yes.
What does that mean?
You are charged an international conversion fee, the same as if they were in an international delivery area. It doesn't matter. Even if you're sending it, say you're sending it to, they're using a freight forwarding company in Portland or something, which happens a lot, or in Florida. You are charged the fee. I think it's bullshit, that's definitely a bullshit fee. It should somehow trigger something that you're shipping to the U.S.
Yeah.
But yes, it does happen, and it happens frequently enough that I knew of it, and I've noticed it for sure.
Interesting. All right, let's look at what your next item is.
This is just a vintage shirt. This one actually came from Diane's inventory as well.
It's a cool shirt. I shipped it.
Nope, I lie. This one did not. I found this one at the bins. This is a me one. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can tell it's from like 80s, like 87, fall of 87 if you look at the tag. If it, it's pretty cool.
Nice. All right. Next up, designated drinker. Now, I feel like I got this shirt, I don't know, it's some thrift store somewhere. I can't remember when, but I paid like maybe $5 for it. But I sold it for the price you see there, $41.99. I thought it was a pretty funny vintage tee. Designated drinker on the old Screen Stars tag.
This looks like the type of shirt somebody would buy on Fremont Street.
Back in the early 90s.
I mean, they're still selling them.
Yeah, but this one's cool because it's actually vintage. But anyway, designated drinker, sold it for $41.99 plus shipping.
This was a multi-sale purchase. I actually sold 2 other dresses to the same woman at the same time, but this was the nicest and most interesting of the 3 dresses. It sold for what you see there, $104.95 plus shipping. She didn't ask for combined shipping, but I did combine them and give her a little bit of a shipping discount and refund when I shipped them together. It's just a really pretty dress. If you look at the photos, it's kind of like a 3D pattern there. So you can see like the flowers actually kind of pop out from the dress. It's tough to tell unless you look at it up close, but it's a pretty dress.
Yeah. Liz makes a good point. She says it has to do with she thinks it has to do with where their bank is. Now that makes sense because no matter what, if their bank, let's say they're in Germany, they have it shipped to a U.S. address, if their bank's in Germany, there is that conversion, that currency conversion is happening regardless of where it's being shipped.
Yeah, that's true.
But
we shouldn't be eating it.
Well, but that's...
Anyway,
I mean, that's part of selling internationally, but...
So, Finding Ariel says that's absolutely true as well. When an international buyer, when anyone uses a freight forwarding service, they lose their buyer protection. That is absolutely true. Once you have shown a successful delivery to the port or wherever you're sending it to,
doesn't matter
Shop America, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If they open up a claim that they didn't receive it internationally, or B, it's damaged, or C, there's anything wrong with it, that's the tough shit basically.
Yeah.
They have no claim to it because once you've delivered it successfully, it's out of your hands.
I mean, you think they would have to go after the freight forwarder because
they do.
They paid them.
They do have to go after the freight forwarder, but it's not your business.
Right.
And most buyers know that. They know that's the risk they take when they're buying internationally and using a freight forwarder to save a little bit of money in the shipping. Now, that being said, they will still ask you and they will still say, open up a claim or even send you a message that could be threatening. You need to know that fact, that you can tell them to please refer to eBay. And then if eBay does, eBay doesn't necessarily know that it's a freight forwarder, especially with claims. You have to make sure that you reply, you put your information in the messaging, escalate it yourself so that a human being looks at it, so that you don't lose the claim, because most of the time it's just AI that is going through these claims, so that you need to know for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next one. This is another Yuri one. Now this is one I actually bought. I had bought a whole bunch of stuff from her earlier this last year. A whole bunch of different things that came out to about $5 a piece. So I paid $5 for it. I did not sell it for this much.
I was going to say, is Robert Graham selling for that anymore?
I did not sell it for this much.
Because my Robert Grahams are sitting there.
I think I got a few Robert Grahams from her, and I think I've sold, this is not the first one that I've sold of them, but I sold it for $50. So I've had it.
I should hit up Casey. He's the only person I know still wearing that shit. See if he wants them.
But yeah, I sold it for $50. This was one of the prints that actually did. The reason I have it priced a lot higher is because it was actually selling for more. But yeah, $50.
This is another jewelry lot that I sold. Again, nothing special. These are 16 sterling necklaces with different pendants. Some of them are Jewish, Judaica pendants. She had a lot of Jewish jewelry. She's a Jewish woman. And, you know, individually, they're not really worth selling. But together, they do have a little bit of weight, and, you know, 78 grams, a little hefty. And, yeah, they $112 plus shipping. And buyer was very happy with their little chains. And again, listed for maybe a week or two.
So they didn't get all jumbled up when I shipped them?
I don't think so.
All right. Next one for me. Hey, remember the Alamo?
Hey.
Pee-wee's bicycle is in the basement.
Never seen it.
You've never seen the Alamo? Mm-mm. Well, neither have I.
I've never been to San Antonio.
I have not either. Anyway, sold for $44.09. So I did have some decent vintage sales, more so on Etsy. Although my Etsy sales have slowed way down because I'm just not adding stuff to it regularly, which is unfortunate. But I just don't have.
You need to be using that cross-listing service that you have.
Well, I need to have vintage stuff to.
Oh.
If I can't make up having vintage
All right,
items.
that's true. That's true.
Anyway, but sold it for $44.09, so I was happy about that. Yeah, today's the first.
Liz says there's no basement in the Alamo.
That's where. No, Liz didn't say that. Allison said that. There is a basement. That's where Pee-wee's bike is. Jeez.
Oh, Allison said it. Sorry.
Anyway, today's the first since I got my little notification saying that Etsy took my $9 and whatever cents that I owed. Because I haven't sold anything this weekend, and that's how much I was in the hole.
Horrible.
Because when it hits the first, if you are in the negative, they take that money
for your listing fees. All right, so this is my Yuri sale. Oh. I talked about these just vintage 80s acid wash. They were 505s with an orange tag. I like the acid wash is not super popular. If these were 501s, which are the button flies, I would have maybe gotten double what you see there. But the 505s are probably the second most popular style and fit. And they sold on Etsy, so they sold for that price. It was on sale, $67.46 plus international shipping. So I did make a little bit of money on the shipping as well. So I probably, altogether, I made $75 on them.
All right. Allison, does that include Big Top Pee-wee, or are we only talking Pee-wee's Big Adventure, or are we including Pee-wee's Playhouse? Just wondering, okay?
It's from the movie, Tommy.
In the movie, his bike gets stolen, and he sees like a psychic or whatever. Anyway, he's told that his bike is in the basement of the Alamo, which does not actually have a basement, as Allison has said. But he travels there to get his bike back, and there is no basement in the Alamo. But great movie, you need to see it. Yes.
Yeah, she forced me to watch it a few years ago. I had never seen it.
Okay, when you say something like that, you're not making yourself look good. There are going to be people who are going to be outraged that not only you hadn't seen it, but that you qualify it by saying you were forced to watch it.
It's true.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure is a fantastic movie, okay? It's great.
Uh-huh.
And it's pretty much how Danny, what's his name from...
Allison, don't flex Pee-wee on me. I'm not scared. Let's go.
All right, when you're here, let's just watch Pee-wee every day.
God, no.
But Danny Elfman had never, from Oingo Boingo, he'd never done a score for a movie before. And so that was the first movie that he even attempted it. And look at where he is now. He does the music for practically everything.
He pretty much does.
All right. Next up for me, hey, Allison, bite me, okay? Bite me.
Oh, see, look, Chuck jumping in on the Pee-wee thing.
Yep, directed by Tim Burton. It's true.
It's true.
It's true. All right. Joe's Crab Shack. Here's another $44.09 sale on the old Etsy. Joe's Crab Shack. It says "Bite Me." I got this for $1. For $1. I do still have free shipping on Etsy. I'm like, whatever. I still get better prices on Etsy.
Did you put all of yours in the front?
What do you mean in the front?
I think I'm looking at some of the...
What are you talking about?
Never mind, go ahead.
I don't even know what you're saying, woman.
Your sales.
Paging Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman. All right. What's up for you?
Okay, this is just some old racing memorabilia. I had emptied a storage locker many years ago. And the person that had the storage locker, it was so much stuff. I can't even tell you. It was so good. was this guy who was a racer back in the day. And this was one of the last things I had to list, and I swear it sat in a pile in the corner of my office for 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And I finally listed it, and it did not take, well, it probably still took a year to sell. It's a very specific thing. But I will say that any memorabilia you have from the La Carrera races are very popular. The La Carrera race has been around for a very long time. Mm-hmm. So what you see is those are photographs. The two things on the top were the plates on his bike, the plates on the front of the bike, and then the, so you can see that was his plate. And then there's photographs of him on the bike, and then there's information. And he would win. He won a lot of these races. So, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I got to ship this, and luckily he said he didn't care about the frames if it made it cheaper to ship. And so I was able to pull them out of the frames, and it did make it a lot easier. So, Chuck, technically, yes, I have listings on Depop. I couldn't even... First of all, I haven't cross-posted anything to there in like a year. But even when I was regularly cross-posting onto Depop, I got very few sales. So I stopped doing it. But I still have listings on there. Vicki, what about you?
I just restarted listing on Depop about a month ago. Mm-hmm. I only have about 20 items listed there. I'll probably double that before the end of this week, maybe more. It is a very weak platform for me because of what I sell. I do sell vintage. I do sell Y2K. I do sell 90s, which is probably the hottest stuff there. But I don't want to sell my stuff for pennies, and Depop really wants lower priced stuff. That's where their buyers are. Now, that being said, I will say I'm very happy that eBay purchased Depop. I have to be honest with you. eBay has dropped the ball for a decade or more on Gen Z and on the younger buyers in general. They have not been able to recruit them to the platform. No matter what type of marketing they've tried, it's been weak sauce at best. So the fact that generation and the younger kids actually shop and use Depop regularly, I think will help us capture some of that market. That's just my opinion. Now, if they put some money into marketing, I think that it would be good. If eBay puts the money into marketing on Depop and they don't try to turn Depop into eBay, I think we can capture some of the youngins. Yeah,
Chuck, there's definitely some people who do really well on Depop. And honestly, like, I might do better on Depop if I started adding stuff to it again, my lower price stuff, because I definitely had stuff priced a lot higher on there than what people really like. But now with the stuff I'm selling now, I mean, I might have better luck with it. So I don't know.
And because we don't have, as a seller right now, that may change again. eBay, again, I'm not bashing eBay. I love eBay, but I don't sugarcoat shit. I think you guys know that.
Yeah.
eBay has a way of screwing shit up when they buy it.
Yeah.
So I really hope that they don't mess with the platform in the way that it works too much. I would prefer that they put guaranteed buyer things there as opposed, like on Poshmark.
Yeah, what's the point of the whole,
on Poshmark or on Macari, how you accept an offer and that actually is a real binding contract. I would like to see them do that, but otherwise I don't think there's anything I would like for them to change.
It's just a waste of time to sit there and accept an offer and then to have nothing happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, Etsy's the same way with their offers. They don't, you accept it and nothing happens.
Well, I would say 85% of my offers on Etsy
a little better, but
are converted to sales.
Yeah, it is a little better. All right. Next up for me, look at this cool hat, guys. I've got my little Houston NASA Space Shuttle trucker hat, and I actually sold it for a decent price, $62.99. I got this hat for $5, but I've had it for like a couple of years. I bought like a bunch of hats from Jesse Yesterday's Fits for $5 a piece. But they don't really take up a whole lot of room. I just have like one bag, the IKEA bag that's full of hats, and so paid $5 for it, sold it for $62.99. They're so lightweight. It's like I put it in a little box. It's like 8 ounces. No big deal. So
I agree with Chuck. Chuck says his daughter really likes the aspect where it just like pops out the shipping label because the shipping aspect causes a lot of anxiety for newer or younger sellers. I agree with that. I think that's the same thing as Poshmark. A lot of people.
I love the Poshmark giving you a label.
A lot of people, especially the younger people, they don't know what it was like for us to figure out shipping. Yeah. If you understand shipping on eBay, you can sell on any platform. I tell people that all the time. It is the most complicated part of selling, is learning how to ship properly.
Yeah.
But if you master that, then you have mastered.
You can kind of do anything anywhere.
You know more than probably 50% of online e-commerce sellers.
And it gives you a lot of leeway, at least on a platform like eBay and Etsy. It gives you a lot of leeway for pricing because you know how to maximize your resources.
Right. I agree with that. So I agree with all the things that everybody's saying. So, I'm hoping that we see more information. And as Liz pointed out, on Depop, at least in the U.S. market, if they can make an automated binding offer with money, something that she and I both experienced when we were talking to other sellers in other countries, they don't do that. They can't. First of all, we can't do it in the U.S. with international buyers. That's why your international sales are not 100% paid when they offer.
Right.
But that being said, that's a banking thing, country to country. But even within, like on .de, they cannot make people put in their banking information because we were told Germans would never do that.
Would never.
They would never do that. They would never put that information in on any platform in advance before they check out.
Yeah. And Poshmark changed for the better on shipping. Absolutely. Before it was like 8 something for shipping and it all went priority. I thought it was very smart of them to switch over to ground because there's no reason it doesn't. Maybe it gets there a day faster. I don't know, whatever. But it lowered the cost a lot. And guys, if you haven't tried out ordering, if you're on Poshmark and you haven't tried out ordering shipping supplies yet, at least on my app, and I think it should be on.
I think it's on everyone's.
I'm not high volume, so certainly I'm not special. I was able to order my first batch of Ground Advantage shipping supplies, and I got them. I will say you want to be careful because if you're limited, I think you can only order like 100 things at once, and then you can order again as soon as you get them. But if you are a low volume seller on there, like I am right now, and I just start like every week I'm ordering another 100, at some point they're going to cut you off, and you don't want that to happen. So
yeah. Let's see. Chuck says, I'm exploring live selling. Yeah, Whatnot is, they also ship the labels, makes it very easy to ship. Yeah. The difficult thing with Whatnot, if you're selling different weights and various items and they're not sort of uniform,
and multiple things to one
buyer. Setting up your shipping parameters are not as easy as one might think. But
making sure you don't
end up
overcharging somebody for.
Because Chuck, I know you sell all kinds of things, so like lots of different hard goods and
Yeah, Chuck, they're giving away, if you are a Poshmark seller, they're giving away Ground Advantage bag, like poly mailers. I wish the poly mailers were smaller, but they're big poly mailers. They're giving away padded...
There's also an email to request them.
They give away padded envelopes. Yeah, but it's easier to just go on the app. They give away padded ones.
You'd have to be a seller to go
I
on
know,
the app.
but I've seen people say that they signed up to sell just to get the free shit. And what are the boxes that they also give?
12 by 12 by 8.
12 by 12 by 8. So
and they also have the shoebox size, which
shoebox
USPS doesn't have priority anymore. The 15 by 7 by 5 or whatever they are. Yeah, Chuck, send me a message. I can send you the information just to send an email to request stuff. You don't have to sign up for a Poshmark account.
Anyway, all right. Next up for you.
This came from Diane's inventory as well. This was an old photograph of hers, actually. I didn't even photograph this. So
these are hilarious. Look at their little leg warmers.
Beater lack. I still love beater lack blankets.
This does not look like a beater lack.
It's not one of the more traditional looking San Marcos or beater lack blankets.
That's quite odd on the other side.
But I just used her photos from this. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
$75 plus shipping.
Yeah. Yeah, Kathy, I've been using the bubble mailer too for like if I sell just a t-shirt, it's like, it doesn't need a bubble mailer, but it's free and it's the right size, so it works perfectly.
Does it?
Uh-oh.
All right, Alexis.
Yeah. But Chuck, I would say, I mean, I don't know everything that you sell, but most of the stuff you could sell on Poshmark, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say Poshmark
anything under 5 pounds you can sell on
If you're going to be on another platform, Poshmark way before Depop. Just saying.
Can we see the blanket? Why is the photo not? They can't see the photo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. That's me. That's my fault.
Jeez.
I'm all over here like, oh, look at how cute they are. Look at this. Look at that.
Can we see the blanket? No, not allowed.
Sorry, guys. I'm a jerk. I'm a dumb dummy.
It's just these little...
But it's a very odd-looking beater lock. It's
workout
not
bears.
a typical beater lock at all.
I know, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. They're just working out, man. They're just working out. All right. Next up for me. Now, here's the thing, guys. One of my goals for while Vicky was gone was to finally get back to cross-posting onto Poshmark, because I also quit doing Poshmark. What happened is, this all happened around when Diane passed away last January. And we went out of town, and I was just like saving time, and I just kind of stopped cross-posting to anything other than just eBay and Etsy. And Poshmark was one of them, and so I haven't cross-posted on Poshmark in over a year. And so one of my goals while Vicky was gone was to get back into that. And let me tell you, it's really weird, guys, but I'm starting to sell more on Poshmark.
Oh my goodness, who knew?
Because Poshmark is one of the platforms that will get you sales, whereas Depop, Mercari, Grailed, it feels like you're throwing stuff into a black hole.
You're just throwing shit at a wall, and maybe somebody will buy something once a year.
Yeah, so...
Poshmark, Etsy, and eBay all reward activity on the platform.
Absolutely. And honestly, I have a feeling once I get all of my stuff cross-posted onto Poshmark and to stay active there, I have a feeling it's going to surpass my Etsy store, unfortunately. As much as I absolutely adore Etsy as a platform just because it's my little vintage wonderland.
But you're not doing
I'm not doing enough vintage to make it... I mean, you are outselling me on Etsy, so...
I always have.
No, are you kidding me? No, you have not, my darling. That is absolutely not true. This last year is the first year that you've sold more than me on Etsy.
I did the previous year too.
Barely. Maybe you did like the same amount. So let's fight now. Fight. Anyway, sold this for $40. I probably paid like $5 for it at some point, but.
All right, this dress did take a while for me to sell. I'm not gonna lie, it took a minute, but I knew it would sell. It sold for $108. That's what you see there. I can't remember what I paid for it. No more than $5. I'm not sure if it was a bins buy or if it was an estate sale buy, but it just had this witchy gothic look to it. Frankly, it's now too big for me, but I would have worn this.
Yeah.
If I went somewhere between Fat Vicky to Skinny Vicky.
I know you kind of skipped over some cool stuff you could have worn.
I skipped over stuff
and you're like, you don't want to go back, but you're like, I could have worn that on the way through.
Yeah.
So if you wore this, though, I would have wanted you to like just hiss at people in the kitchen.
Yeah, like Morticia Addams. Did you see I put that in the title somewhere?
Or like What We Do in the Shadows.
It was on my title somewhere else, but I did have like Morticia and like.
You just gotta like walk by people and go.
I mean, people that do goth weddings. We have a friend that did a goth wedding that they got married in a coffin, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. All right. And then here's another sale in Poshmark. Are you guys still alive there in the chat? I always worry that like something like went down, but all of a sudden there's like no activity over there. So I'm not entirely sure. Let me know. Give me a proof of life, somebody. Anyway, this is a really cool Montreal, Quebec t-shirt. Cool vintage. I love these old vintage 80s. Well, this one's 70s.
That's
80s.
Probably the first time I went to Quebec was like around that time that t-shirt.
Oh, Chuck is hanging on every word. He's just so enthralled.
Chuck, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. But anyway, just a cool t-shirt, and sold it for $42 on Poshmark. So I do get some decent prices for vintage on Poshmark, and I am excited. I am up to May 17th is the date I'm on for, because I'm going from the oldest stuff that needs to be cross-posted. So I've got a lot of listings to go.
Got a
lot of listings to go. So I'm excited to see where my sales end up in the next couple of months on Poshmark. I would love to actually have some good money coming in from another platform. Anyway, so yeah, sold it for $42, and I do love me a Poshmark sale where it just spits out that label for you.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's this?
Well, this is like the quintessential stripper dress, right? It's long and it's sheer, and this looks like the type of dress a girl would put on after she got off stage and walked around to the crowd and tried to get people to go to the champagne room. That's what it 100% what it strikes me as. It's probably not what it is, but specifically House of Field goes for quite a bit of money. I wanted to just take the money for it, so it sold for $80. I had it listed for just a couple of weeks, But I think I could have gotten more if I had held out for it. It's just that brand sells really well. It's kind of like vintage Betsy Johnson. It kind of just, it's got an iconic look to it. But I was happy. $80. I did get this at the bins. I must have, and it's super sheer and lightweight, and I probably paid $1 for it.
Nice.
And it sold within a month of it being listed.
Very good. Very good. All right, last one for me. My last good Poshmark sale. I sold a pair of Levi's. Speaking of 501s, not vintage. These are from 2016. Sold them for $50. Nice pair of black Levi's. Sold them for $50. So.
Oh, I love Crystal's story time. Next time we hang out, story time. It's almost as good
Sounds
as
naughty.
Susie's story time. I have to say.
What do you mean almost? Why would you say that? Susie's not here, so you can just go ahead and say Crystal's story time is better.
I don't know. I think even Crystal would agree.
And then Susie can come and try to prove why hers is better.
I think even Krista would agree.
Yeah.
Susie's stories are pretty
pretty
outrageous.
They are pretty good.
Okay, so before we start talking about our goals, I do want to just bring up to a few people here in the chat.
I didn't put it in the thing. I would have.
You can grab it from my Facebook if you can open on the side here while I'm talking.
True.
So most of you guys know Lorna, our friend Lorna, and we've talked about her throughout the last couple of years. She is in her early 40s, and she is a fellow reseller that is also my cross poster. She works part-time for me. It's a way for her to earn some money while she can, when she's feeling well. She is battling stage 4 cancer right now.
She was diagnosed just over 2 years ago.
Just over 2 years ago, she was diagnosed, and the reality is she is not going to survive this. We know this. She knows this. It's all about extending her time as long as possible. That being said, she's been doing pretty well for the last 2+ years. Tumor markers have stayed pretty stagnant. They have not increased. But a couple of days ago, she had a massive brain aneurysm. She is okay.
Completely unrelated. It was so weird.
Completely unrelated to the cancer, although it is brought on by stress and anxiety. And
true, but it's just one of those freak things.
So that being said, those of you that know Lorna, she is okay. She will be okay. However,
for this part of it, she is in the hospital. She will be in ICU. She had to have brain surgery. It was a massive brain bleed. She will be in ICU for 2 to 3 weeks. And during that time, she won't be able to work. And yes, she is stage 4 cancer and still works every single day. Probably works more hours than I do. She's got to pay the bills.
Because she has to keep a roof over her head and eat. I had done a GoFundMe for her through our channel and with our friends 2 years ago when she was first diagnosed. And I have revived that. We put it in the chat there. So the majority of the money that you see on this GoFundMe was raised 2 years ago. Correct. And is long gone. Correct. Gone towards bills. We've raised $500 in the past couple of days just with me sharing it on my personal Facebook. Listen, I know money is tight. I know it's tight for all of us. If this had been a couple of years ago, I would just send her money and would have not had a problem doing so. But if you have the ability to help, if you have the ability to send $5, $10, every little bit helps. Every amount that she gets is going, towards heating pellets or food or a utility or. I will add this link in the chat, or not in the chat. I will add this link in the show notes as soon as we get off. Anything that you can spare, and if you can't spare anything, share it. It does help. I have had strangers donate to these GoFundMes. If you could take it upon yourself and share it, I would greatly appreciate it. Lorna is a very proud person. She works very hard, and she does not like asking for help. And this was not her ask. This was me. 2 years ago, I did the GoFundMe, and I decided to revive it this week after her ending up in the hospital again. So it's especially important these next couple of weeks that she not be stressed and freaking out about how she's going to pay, how they're going to keep their electricity on, or she needs to keep stress free because the possibility of reoccurrence with another aneurysm that just kills her is very high. So she needs to try to stay as unstressed as possible. Yeah. They were going to life flight her, and it was too foggy because she lives in Washington. They were going to life flight her to Seattle, but it was too foggy that night.
they ended up taking her by ambulance, and she got the ferry took her on a private ride. She got her own private ferry.
I've talked to her.
across.
I've talked to her partner. He may as well be her husband. They've been together for 15 years. I've talked to her. I've talked to her best friend that has gone to visit her a couple of times. So we're in contact with people. She is talking. She's actually been posting on Facebook. I don't know how coherent she sounds. She's pretty drugged up. But yeah, if there's anything you can do to spare, I would appreciate it greatly, and I know that she would as well. She is genuinely one of the best people in the world, and has had an incredibly
Very
difficult
generous
life
towards other people.
Incredibly difficult life, and this last couple of years has been harder than
really hard.
anybody needs to live through.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
anyway, thanks guys. So anyway, Alexis was saying earlier if she gets to say "I told you so" to me about cross posting to Poshmark. Listen, I was never in denial about the impact that cross posting would have on my Poshmark store. It's more like the way I operate. It's like I have a way that I do things, and then when I decide I want to do something, if I'm going to make a change or do something different, sometimes it takes me a while to get there. But then once I make that decision, then I'm all in. And so it's
she's like that about a lot of things. It's really annoying.
Whatever. Yeah, but then there's things. First of all, it serves you well. Okay, it serves you well, lady.
Yes, it is just understood, Alexis. Yeah. So what? We talk about our goals for the week.
Yeah. So as far as goals, so one of my big goals was I wanted to get to 300. While Vicky was gone, I wanted to get to 300 items in my draft bank. I did not meet that goal yet, so now I'm keeping that goal until Trish gets here.
What did you get to?
I got to right now I'm at 275, so I'm really close.
I mean, that's really close.
I'm really close. I want to have 300 by the time Trish gets here to help with me setting up my inventory, so that I want to be able to I can go 10 days without listing at all, and
Tommy, you have no idea. Well, actually,
it's not necessarily about being pig-headed. It just has to do with how my brain works. Like Alexis says, sounds like
it's the tism.
It's definitely
a combination of the two.
Neurodivergent. And anyway, but when I decide I'm going to do something, so speaking of goals, one of my goals has been to get to the gym, and I do 2 days a week. I have not missed that since the last time we had our show. I go 2 days a week, and Vicky will be like, "Oh, you're so rigid." It's yeah, but for me, that's how. First of all, you're never going to get anywhere with the gym unless you are rigid and actually follow through.
True.
And so needing to meet those goals. If I'm going to build up my guns, okay, if I'm going to build up my guns, I got to be doing that. And hopefully you're going to be joining me again soon. But
I will be. I did not go this week because first of all, I didn't come home till Tuesday night. I did not go Friday because I have been a mess. Jet lag, man, dude. I didn't realize it was as bad as it was. Anyway, I'm finally getting back adjusted. I forced myself to stay up late last night, and I think I slept to a normal time today. I slept till about 6:30 this morning, which is good. I've been getting up at 4 in the morning, which is not good. So we'll see. Hopefully that means I'm all adjusted and fixed now. I mean, I'm still a mess, but maybe my sleeping won't be.
We kept you up with the bunko. Well, I told her, I'm you're never gonna come fully adjust if you go to bed at 8:30 every night, because of course you're gonna wake up at 4:30.
Well, I mean, I'd like to be part of the 4 a.m. club, as they say, but the reality is, even when I wake up at 4 a.m., I can't.
You're not accomplishing.
I'm
anything.
not doing anything.
You're lying there for 2 hours
because I can't wake her up, which would wake up the dogs.
I mean, you could.
The dog. Nobody wants the dogs.
The dogs. That's true.
Nobody wants the dogs at 4 a.m.
Because I wouldn't mind if she woke me up because she got up at 4:30 and went out to go do some work. I'm not somebody who can't just go back to sleep, so I would just go back to sleep. But yeah.
Oh, Allison's getting jacked up at work.
All right, Allison. Well, when you come, you can go to the gym with me. What do you say about that? I'm making Trish go to the gym with me when she gets here.
It's true. Trish comes in a couple weeks. Katie's going to be working on her inventory. Trish and I are going to be working on our Florida road trip tour that we're doing. In May. We're going to be nailing down the exact dates and our itinerary and all the things. We're going to be teaching and getting our tickets ready to go on sale for people that are going to come out and learn from us.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be doing when she's here. Also, her husband is coming with her for the first week. She's going to be here for about 3 weeks. Her husband will be here for the first week, so we'll be doing stuff around his birthday too, because we all love there. So yeah, it's vacation time for us, sort of. I have to get back into, I have about, I would say about 75 items all in left to list out of Diane's inventory. And then I have maybe 30 of my own items.
Then you gotta start like sourcing.
I have to start sourcing again. I have not sourced in a long time. So I don't think necessarily I'll get through it all this week, but my goal is to get through it all before Trish gets here. Because one of the things we're also going to do is have a palette delivered so that we can do some whatnot shows together while she's here. And yeah. Kat did make Trish go to the gym with her. We heard all about it.
And then I was grilling Trish to find out exactly what things she made her do to see if I approved of the routine or what she was doing. But anyway, she's going to be coming to the gym with me when she gets here. And Crystal said, being in her mid-40s, she's a part of the 3:30 a.m. club against her will. Maybe it might be time. Like I need to get Vikki a referral to a new OBGYN, because maybe you guys both might be ready to get on that.
Apparently we need the hormones.
Get on that estrogen. Well, that's kind of the sleep disruption is kind of the number one thing that
All right.
But it's the number one thing that finally makes women be like, enough already, I'm going to go to the doctor and get put on some hormones. But sleep.
Anywho,
of course, Chuck, of course you can visit and go on a sourcing adventure with us.
Anytime, Chuck. We would love to hang out with you.
So anyway, my goals, like I said, keep going to the gym, get up to 300, continue to do my cross-posting to Poshmark. I continue to do my 15 listings a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year on eBay. So my goal with Poshmark is I try to do, rather than sit there and try to do like hundreds a day or anything like that, I'm trying to do at least 20 a day cross-posting, so I'm doing just over what I'm listing daily on eBay, cross-posting to Poshmark, so eventually I'll get caught up. But I'm trying to keep on that as well. And I am seeing some results, so it's good.
As Alexa says,
How dare you?
Funny that. Are you seeing some results? Anyway, so just to wrap up and we'll let you guys get going. Thank you for listening to me about the GoFundMe for Lorna. I understand that there's so many GoFundMes. I understand that we're all a little bit more strapped these days. But if you can spare a little bit, it would really mean a lot to me and to her. Yeah, what else?
Pay attention for the next week's show.
Next Sunday's show.
Noon our time, rather than 2.
It will be the only show where we are all together talking about what we experienced. Nobody else has a YouTube channel.
You can ask questions.
Ken and Anna do have a podcast, and we will share that information as well when they're here. But for those that don't listen to podcasts, we're it. This is the channel to learn about it. Oh, and real quickly, I just wanted to share. I did do something when we were there.
You did one thing.
I did one thing. Well, I did a lot of things.
I know, that's why I'm like...
I got a tattoo while I was in Berlin. Anna and I got a tattoo. This little green man here. It's called the Ample Man.
Yeah, look up Ample Man. How do you spell it? It's 2 N's, right?
Amplemann. He is the walking symbol of a very specific area of Berlin, but he was super cute. And we got a little tattoo. So now we have determined and set a precedent that if eBay sends us on another adventure...
I know you're going to have to get more
Anna
tattoos.
and I are going to have to get a tattoo everywhere we go.
Yep, pretty much.
It's just going to be. It is what it is.
Yep.
So hopefully they send me somewhere cool. I mean...
Yeah. Otherwise,
I could end up with some really ugly ink.
All right. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great week. Be productive. Get some good stuff done. Get out and move your body. Even if you don't go to the gym, maybe get up and walk around.
I mean, we walked at least 5 miles a day the whole time we were in Berlin. Yeah. At least. So. Yeah. And
Chuck, it was great to see you here.
Anytime, Chuck. Good to see you. Come hang out anytime. And yeah, come to Vegas anytime. You know how to reach us.
Yep. All right. Bye.
Bye.